Josh, why don't you kick us off? Give us a little bit of an intro yourself. Obviously, I've had the pleasure of knowing you for about 5 years now. Why don't you, if anyone doesn't know Josh Gardiner, give us a little bit of an intro.
Yep. No, thanks, Tyler. I am director at IO Associates on the permanent side. I joined as a fresh-faced 22-year-old, pretty much straight out of university, and here I am 8 years later. Absolutely loving it still, and I'll probably be here for the next 8 years at least. Incredible
journey, homegrown as well, homegrown talent
from Bristol. Unfortunately, support Bristol Rovers, and a lot of the jokes I get in the office are about that. But it's went to uni in Southampton, came back to Bristol because obviously that's where I was born, and still here and absolutely loving it.
Fair to say then you've got some real credibility behind you in terms of like going through the ups and downs of your career, and you've understood what it's like to build relationships along the way as well.
I think so. I think, look, people listen to this will probably be able to resonate with this, but recruitment is super tough. And I think it's the relationships that you have in the office, it's the relationships you have with clients, internally and externally. And I think, if you don't have relationships, this job can be lonely, it can be tough. It's an emotional roller coaster. So, I think one thing that we set out to do 7-8 years ago when nobody really knew of IO Associates, and this is something that I learned from my director, Neil, the founder of IO, was that create good relationships and you will be really successful in recruitment. And that's one thing that I've always sort of stood by, and I believe that is the ultimate making of a really good recruiter.
Yeah, agreed. And on yourself as well, Paul. Why don't you start off with a bit of an intro into who is Paul Haslett?
Paul Haslett, yeah. So head of IT for the last few years. Born and bred in Bristol. Been kind of working in IT now for the last 25-ish, 26 years. And yeah, recruitment, I think for me, building those relationships, having been in multiple roles where being responsible for recruiting people and bringing people into those businesses, actually having multiple recruitment companies and lots of people trying to pester you and trying to drive people through your business. Actually, I found that kind of, certainly one of my other previous roles, we used multiple different recruitment companies, and actually when we then consolidated and actually worked very closely with Josh and IO, and the improvement in the service and the candidates that we found astronomically ramped up. Yeah, it was having that kind of relationship with somebody who understands what business you're in, kind of you as a person. Me and Josh have been out for food and drinks, and we kind of we're almost mates as well. So it's
we are mates. Can we just clarify that for everyone at home? We are.
I was trying to deny it.
I was actually going to say more like father and son, but we can go with mates.
Get mates. Yeah,
mates is cool.
We said we wouldn't bring age into it.
Sorry, brothers then.
brothers with another brother. But yeah, actually, that to me is super important. When we were looking for people, when we are looking to recruit people, having somebody that actually I trust, I know that's going to find me the right people, the best candidates. They're not going to waste my time with just firing CVs across that aren't even fit for the role. We've all been there where we get emails or CVs through that just, people that don't even fit the job spec or don't even fit the business. And actually also understanding our culture in certainly in my previous role, culture was a really important thing for us.
Yeah.
So having people that could fit into that team and people that were going to be part of the journey that we were on with a fast-paced entrepreneurial type business, it was important that we kind of had that relationship that, they understood, Josh and his team understand exactly what we're looking for. And it's not just, here's a bunch of CVs and pick from what you got.
Yeah. Well, I've been gassed to record this episode anyway, because for the first time on this podcast, which is intended for benefiting recruiters, is that we got the chance to actually sit down with a client and a recruiter at the same time. And I think people watching this or listening to this will find that actually building those long-lasting relationships, it's not just one-sided. And I think we'll go back to you on that for a second, Paul. But what do you think that impact has been for you and for the companies that you've worked for in the past?
Certainly for me, the time saved, the money saved, and without saying, the relationship is super important. For me, having somebody that is now a friend as well as someone that is a supplier that I've worked with, if things aren't right, we can have an open and frank conversation. But if things are working well, we understand from each other exactly what we both want. When you've got multiple different people trying to sell you the same type of service, I also think it degrades the service that's offered by the other supplier. When there is that competition, some people say that's good, but I actually think having a soul relationship with somebody like that, where it's kind of, you are focusing on the relationship we've got, the service that we want from that client or that supplier, actually that to me, we're building something as a, you know, between us, where if there's 4 or 5 different people all competing for the same job and to try and supply you with the best CV, it's not about speed and just turning it around as quick as you possibly can. Actually spending some time with me or members of my team that might be recruiting those people, understanding what they want from that person, not just, you know, it's not just about the skills, it is about some of the softer side of things. And it is about, like, it helps, yeah, certainly speed to market and getting people, as when you've got that relationship, Josh knows from his team and like what I'm looking for. We're not wasting time with people that won't fit the bill.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I think it just adds speed, not wasting mine or my team's time looking at CVs that aren't going to be fit for purpose. Yeah. And yeah, that saves money, and you know, there's a whole nuance of other, you know, side effects that you're just getting the right quality of people quickly.
Does it affect it when you've got multiple agencies all attacking the same job?
Like there's nothing worse from my perspective where multiple agencies are chasing me for a job.
Yeah.
Because all I'm getting is phone calls from people that it's just non-stop.
Yeah.
And actually me being able to say, no, we've got a relationship with a recruiter and actually we're not looking for anybody else. I can just bat those people away and we can focus on actually the work that we're trying to do.
I actually remember, I remember eight years ago or 7.5 years ago when I'd hit you up on LinkedIn because I saw a job that you're advertising.
The classic.
The classic, the pest that you was actually on about just a minute ago, so sorry. But I actually remember you like, okay, here's a service desk analyst role. It's been open for a few months. You know, good luck. This will sort of test, obviously, you know, if you can say what you say you can and if you can deliver on it. And I said, okay, but before I work the role, I want to come down, I want to meet you and I want to understand a bit about you. I want to see the office, I want to see the culture. And you sort of looked, you know, well, when I was on the phone, you sort of sounded shocked. You were like, well, no one really does that. You know, you were just like, you know, you're like, I haven't really been asked to do that, but sure, if you want. So I went out to Bradley Stoke, I think it was where you were working at the time. And, you know, you gave me a tour around the office, got a feel for the organization. And more importantly, I got to know you and what you wanted and what you looked for in a candidate. And I think, you know, if that didn't happen, I generally don't know if we'd still be here because, you know, it might have just been a one-off placement. It might have just been, you know, or I might have gone, actually, do you know what? I can't understand the culture. I can't understand the feel, and I couldn't feel the role. Luckily for us, you know, we had an hour, and I came down with Neil, and like I said, met your team, and you know, we haven't looked back. But I do think, you know, that approach of you being willing to welcome me in and understand, you know, because at the time I was a stranger who just, you know, a very baby-faced stranger. Who said, you know, come on down. You're like, okay, if you want. But yeah, I do really think that's.
I think it is absolutely. It's massively important to build that kind of understanding of the business you're trying to fill that role for. You know, a couple of the companies I've worked for, certainly recently, both very different in their culture, but both had a very strong culture that they talked about. So yeah, certainly with my last job, actually really fast paced, lots of turnaround, lots of acquisition, growing all the time. It was about fast pace, and we wanted people that would understand that. Where in the role before that, it was probably a lot slower. Actually, people had been there for a long time, but it was people that, you know, wanted to see a long-term career and actually really invest in, you know, it was a charity that I was working for and all that kind of stuff. So it was actually understanding kind of those different nuances of those two different businesses that actually really helped the quality of the people we were getting actually then fit the bill. People weren't walking into an interview and like, oh, you're buying a business a week. No one told me that. Yeah. They understood all of that before they were even walking. Oh, you were going to expect me to travel up and down the country? Absolutely.
Yeah. And obviously Josh has been into the office. He knows that he's taken time to actually absorb the culture himself.
Absolutely.
It's easier. He's almost like an extension of the business himself, dare I say. So, no, I get that. How does that stack against like the more transactional side then, where it is just like what Josh described before, like a one-off? Yeah, the transactional bit for me, I'm just glad that we moved away from that, certainly, as I say, in the last 2 roles that I was in, because it's just more of a headache. It's more of a pain dealing with people that don't really understand what you're looking for. They don't understand your business. They're just trying to fill a bum on a seat and make a percentage or a commission of whatever it is that they're trying to make. And don't be wrong, we're all here to make money and we're all a business, and I get all of that. But actually, that shouldn't be your sole driver as to why you're trying to get somebody into our business. And I think that transactional piece, certainly, that's the way it felt
probably prior in one of my previous roles where it was very transactional. We had 4 or 5 recruitment agencies always kind of chasing every single role that we published.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, you didn't build a relationship with any of the people there. I didn't speak to them from one week to the next, where actually the relationship I have with Josh now, we actually speak, even if we haven't got roles. I'll give Josh a ring, he'll give me a ring. We just kind of have a chat. Where with that transactional bit, actually you don't get to know those people. You don't understand, they just phone you when they, oh, you've seen a role, here we go. Let's try and get on top of that one. And I think, it just kind of, it wastes a lot more of my time. It wastes a lot more of my team's time if they're recruiting people as well, because all of a sudden they'll start to kind of like, oh, Paul's not going to take the role, so I'll try and speak to Paul's service desk manager, or we'll speak to another member of his team and see if we can then start to go, round him, or find some another way in to kind of get those roles filled. And it just doesn't.
Terrible. Who would do that?
Who would do that?
So transactional. Who would even do that?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't want to say.
I want to focus on you for a second, actually, Josh, because obviously you're a director of a team now. Are you putting the same message across to your team about how to effectively do this? How do you go about doing that?
I think at the time when you join recruitment companies, especially when, like I said, we were brand new into the recruitment scene. I think it's a common fact that recruitment is the most saturated market in the UK, right? So you have to do stuff differently to stand out. There's no two ways about it. And I think, like I said, when Neil told me that, and I think that was something that at the time, maybe I couldn't quite get my head around it. I was like, well, surely, maybe we want a transactional, maybe we just want to get our foot in the door and do a deal. And if it leads on to something brilliant, but if not, it's money on the board. And Neil was like, no. This is why we do it. And this is how we do it. And like I said, I think, I pride myself on being, a prime example in PRG that actually you don't need to do 20, 30, 40, placements at different companies a year. I think I probably have 7 or 8 clients or friends like Paul. And I think, I just work around those all year round. And I think that's what you need to be a successful recruiter. Like I said, a lot of people spread themselves really thin, constant calls, constant check-ins, but they might lose that friendship. They might lose that relationship because, again, you're spreading yourself so thin. You're not maybe checking in. You're not having conversations. You're not being real. You only really give them a call when you see an advert. But actually, like Paul said, I've called him up on weekends, in the evenings, we meet up, and I know, because it's not a transactional relationship, when he needs IT support, I'll be the first person he comes to. Yeah. And like I said, knowing that is brilliant because it makes life a lot easier. But yeah, going back to my team, I think, like I said, this job is super hard. You spin multiple plates a day. I sort of say you're like a Stretch Armstrong to the boys and girls in my team. You're getting pulled left, right, and centre with interviews and jobs coming in and internal tasks, external meetings. I think, if you can have relationships that, like I said, you can rely on, you can trust, you can build a relationship, but most importantly, go on a journey with, that is what will set you up. Because, I think, once you start doing a few placements with, let's talk about me and Paul. Once I started doing a few placements with Paul, I was then placing other managers within the team. I was then going on a journey. Obviously, because I placed the candidate, I had a really good relationship with the candidate. So then my relationship with Paul was sort of oozing into the candidates I was placed, who I had really good relationships with. And all of a sudden they're hiring 5 or 6 people. So it's a partnership, it's between IO and obviously the client. And I think we go on journey with all the candidates that we place. So it becomes a real family feel. And that's what I absolutely love about it. If you're doing spot business, you're placing a candidate, you've obviously hopefully given the candidate some good service. That potentially is the last time that you're going to speak to the candidate. So, that's what I really, really like. We go on a journey, we build out whole IT teams. And I think, we can talk on first name terms and have a beer or a coffee with every single person that we place from the team, because like I said, we've been on a journey with them, and that's really important.
Yeah, it's clearly levels to this game. How is this dynamic? Like, how does it work between the two of you?
I'll tell you how the dynamic is. The dynamic is that he came to my 30th birthday party.
No way.
Judging by his dance moves, he won't be invited to my 31st because
rude.
I think I saw like the Macarena and Night Fever.
No, you didn't.
It was terrible. But
I
think, like I said, there's nothing better than working with someone closely on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, he was a friend. I think, I can go to him to talk about recruitment, but also I can go to him to talk about life advice. We've had a lot of fun times over the last 7-8 years. But I would say probably 30-35% of our conversations haven't even been about recruitment.
Yeah.
I think we got each other through COVID. When at the time when no one was recruiting, but you're trying to keep your spirits up. You're trying to keep positive. Positive. You're like, okay, well, let's just have a chat. Let's jump on Teams, and we can't leave our houses.
Talk about
we're in
football or
lockdown.
something else.
Exactly, and I think that also again just strengthened our relationship. That it's a really good dynamic. Maybe slightly weird sometimes. I think I've kissed his bald head multiple times, but like I said, I wouldn't change it for the world. And anybody out there who's listening who has just started their recruitment company, just started their recruitment journey, aim to get relationships. You don't need 8, 9, 10 relationships. Get 3 or 4 who understand you, you understand them. Go on a journey with them, build a relationship, because Paul's changed my life. Realistically, I think I had a look before I came into this. I think over 105 placements across the sort of 3-4 companies that he's been in. And hopefully I've made his life a bit easier and a lot more fun. And I've probably introduced him to Jaeger bombs, which I don't think you knew about them before you met me, because we are sucking for them.
That's a recruitment thing, isn't it?
It's definitely our thing, that's for sure.
Other drinks are available, by the way. It doesn't have to be Jaeger bombs.
No.
Is that the same with yourself, though?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, it is like, it was what was a service that we were looking to take in a business that I was working for, but absolutely, it was kind of over the time, we just, having that relationship with somebody where you can just pick up the phone and you're having a bad day, you want to just, vent to somebody or whatever, that understands a bit why you might be venting because it's about work or whatever. I think it was really important. And for me, it's built that trust. I know I can trust Josh and his team to deliver what I'm looking for. They're not going to waste my time. They're not going to waste my team's time. They're not going to send a load of rubbish to one of my managers or whatever, and then it's just going to be, I've got my manager ringing me up saying, well, what's this from Josh? That just doesn't happen, because Josh knows fully well I'm going to pick up the phone and we talk. Yeah. We all work really hard. I think sometimes being able to have something where you have a relationship with somebody where you can go out and enjoy yourself and you do have a bit of fun outside of work as well, it's great. It just helps solidify that relationship, that you can go and have a few beers together or go for some dinner or whatever and just watch some football or whatever it is, or go to Josh's birthday party.
I think the other key thing I think as well, and this is something which I think is undervalued maybe, or maybe not thought about, but when you've got candidates, and they've got multiple opportunities on the table, only one via yourself, and they're deciding. There's a big decision for the for the candidates. Do they pick option A, which is via myself and I, or did they pick up option B via a different agency? It really just helps to go, well, let me tell you a bit about your manager, which is Paul, because I don't think a lot of maybe a lot of people would even know that, or what's the team like, and actually knowing what the team's like because you've placed them, knowing exactly what the manager's like because you know them outside of work, you know them inside of work, you've got a good amount of years stacked up now of where you've been on a journey together. That's really powerful, and you're not second guessing. You're actually being completely honest to the candidate, giving them a really good service, because there is no other agency involved. We're not lying when we say that. We know the ins and the outs of the company, Paul, and the rest of the team. And that's also really important.
That is great, because it is something that certainly candidates have said to me before in the past, that they felt like they were well prepped when they came in, and they knew me or knew my managers before they came into the interview that they were going for. They felt that they knew a lot about the business before they'd even arrived. Some of the things that we might prep them and tell them about in the interview, they'd already, Josh and the guys have already told us that. Yeah. And I think that's brilliant. It just helps kind of settle people when they're going into an interview, and certainly, get them excited about the opportunity that might be there, or, the opportunity for them to kind of become part of that team or whatever it might well be.
So like you were saying to me before we shot this, that you guys obviously maintain this relationship for about 7 years now.
Yeah.
How have you gone about maintaining it so long?
A lot of good nights out, and just, he says, it's having somebody that is, as we said before, is a friend as well as somebody that I've used as for recruitment, as actually that relationship has developed. Actually, we are friends, so we do go out for nights out. We go drinking. We've been out for some dinners. We've been to some football matches in the past.
Oh wow.
We went up, and I'm a big Liverpool fan. We bought some tickets, went up to Anfield.
Really?
That really hurt, putting my money into the club, I can't lie. But we did. We had a good fun.
It was a good night out. Liverpool won, which was the most important thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just social, just, not just having that meeting in the office and having kind of spending time where it is very formal. I think getting some downtime where it is less formal and you can just go out, have a few drinks, maybe not even talk about work.
Yeah.
Just go out and talk about the football or the cricket or the rugby or whatever it is that you're interested in. What band you went to see, or, you know, I know Josh is big into his music and all the rest of it, you know, chatting about some of that sort of stuff, going to some events. That to me kind of, it just solidifies that actually it's not just that clinical kind of transactional relationship that you're just there to.
It makes it more human, right?
Yeah.
It is worth noting though that when Paul goes, I've seen that on your Instagram. What's that music or what's that DJ? I then go on to say it, and it goes right over your head, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm way too old for
so
that.
actually, the key to the relationship is me introducing you to new, cool, trendy music.
Trendy.
Cool. I've just said the word trendy. That's not very
trendy at all, is it?
That's not trendy.
But it's, he says, and there is an age difference between me and Josh. And I think there is that kind of banter as well. And I think that also, because we're both quite laid back about that sort of thing, actually we do have a bit of fun. We do take the mickey out of each other. There is a bit of banter back and forth. And it's not just kind of, I'm the client, you do as I say. And actually, you know, we do kind of have that kind of relationship where there is a bit of fun involved as well.
Yeah, I think that's sort of like, you know, that stems though from a few years of getting to know each other, doing a good job.
It wasn't like this day one.
Trust and loyalty. No, you know, I think
it took time.
You know, trust me in what myself and my team can do. And like I said, I trust you knowing that, you know, you're proud of our service that we give you and the staff that we give you. And I think, you know, as you go along this journey, you understand more about each other. You know, you throw each other a few jokes, and like I said, it's now being human, right? People buy from people. Yeah. We're humans. We have, you know, we get along. We have the same sort of humor. So actually, if we can do our jobs whilst having fun, that's the perfect solution, right? Sorry, it's a perfect scenario.
Yeah, actually. Any good, dare I ask this? I was going to say, any good anecdotes?
There's been a few. As I say, I went to Josh's birthday for his 30th. We've been to a few football matches, got stuck in a lift.
Get stuck in a lift.
We were stuck in a lift.
For half an hour.
Half an hour together.
Missed the first half of the game, 30 minutes of it. I think we were like, well, what do we do? So I think...
Finished our beer and...
Sang some songs. Just literally. And I think all we could hear was like, you know, the people outside, and we're going to be with you soon. And we were like, well, we're having a whale of a time. I think we were belting out Whitney Houston. And I was like, this is class. I've got a good one, I think. I should say it. So I think we obviously had a few drinks that night. I think it was a Friday night. Somehow, we didn't really have a plan to do about 10:30, 11. So I think I suggested casino. And
you always suggest
somehow
casino.
By some,
just by some chance.
Some chance.
Paul was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And I went, brilliant. Okay, well, if you get out £200 and sort of like left the sentence there, so you know, they're quite big pools. So we got out £200 and didn't really look back, because obviously didn't really see me taking out any money. But anyway, didn't think anything of it. Must have thought I had cash in my wallet. So we entered a casino and I went, right, perfect. So I'll have 100 and you can have 100. And he goes, what? And I just thought, well, we've been friends for 4 or 5 years now. So I thought, well, I'm going to test the water here. I was like, okay, fine. I won't take your money. I won't take your £100, but we'll gamble together. Anyway, Paul goes, all right, fine. I'll go get a drink. By the time he came back, £200 worth of chips had been lost on the roulette table.
Didn't see any of that money again.
I remember going to work on Monday. I was like, Neil, I'm unsure whether this client will still want to be friends with me, but no, it was good fun. It was all good fun. Yeah, it's all jest. I do owe you another trip. I'm sure.
At some point we'll go for another game of football somewhere.
Yeah, but no.
Next time we go to the casino, you'll pay it.
Yeah, but I do think just to finish, I think. Yeah, and I wouldn't advise it to anybody listening to go and do that with clients. But I think it's testament as to where our relationship went and has gone. Like I said, maybe not the first 3, 4, 5 years, but like I said, I think we're at a point now where it's slightly acceptable, just because of who we are, what we know about each other, and the journey that we've been on. Yeah,
and on that point, Joshua, just sticking with you for a second, what tips would you give recruiters then who are listening to this and looking to basically replicate what you've done?
Yeah, I think anybody in any sort of walk of life or job, whatever, I think people buy from people, as I just mentioned. I think don't be a robot. As I said, it's a hard market, saturated. You need to stand out, and actually, the people for instance, that you remember on TV, or the people that you remember in recruitment companies, or people who sell you items either via the phone or at your door or in shops. You remember the people who stand out. So be yourself. Don't I don't massively agree with the, dear Paul and hope this email finds you well. And, the classic maybe email format or conversation format that you would have had 6-7 years ago. I think now it's all about being yourself, having your own identity, because that's, for me, is what I love to see. And if I'm going to buy a product or be upsold, those are the people that I buy from. So I think my tip is be yourself, have your own identity, have fun with it. Like I said, be professional as well. You can be fun, have your own identity, professional, all in one. But I think that's my tip to my team. And I think, like I said, we're all humans here. We want to make their life easier. They want to make our life easier. I think you go on a journey with people, as I keep on saying, it's all about being a journeyman. I really, really do believe that. And I think, being yourself and having that at the forefront of your mind with every conversation or every email you do or every LinkedIn post you do, that will really, really stand you in good stead of getting, 10 pulls.
Nice.
And I think it is kind of work and life. Things are tough. Actually, sometimes it is good to have some fun when you are doing, when you're at work and you can have that relationship where you're going to have a bit of fun around it. Actually, that just makes you you enjoy that experience, that interaction with somebody. Why would you not want to do more of that compared to something where actually this is a bit dull and drab and it's the same conversation that I've had a million times with a million different people. Actually, if you can have that kind of fun interaction, then why wouldn't you?
It's more impactful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think on that, before you even start, recruiting a role, especially if it's one of the first times that you're placing a potential candidate with a company and the manager, get to know them, because that will stand you in such good stead. There'll be so many people out there who get a role or pull a role from a client or an organization and go, right, brilliant, we'll just start working it. But that for me is the first.
And it does take time. You've got to put effort into it, and you've got to spend that time on it. It's not going to happen over 2 emails or a couple of conversations. It's going to take time and effort.
Understand how each other work, right?
Yeah.
I think, Paul, what do you want from me as your recruiter? And Paul, this is what I'd like from you as my client manager, as my client. And I think once you identify that, the rest sort of falls into place, because you will go, like I said, you'll develop your relationship from there.
Yeah, nice. And on as well, a point that Josh mentioned before, if it wasn't for that invite to come to the office and see the offices, be honest,
absolutely, it would have been probably very similar to every other interaction that I'd have had.
Yeah.
Because, as I say, back in that role, we probably had 4 or 5 recruiters pestering for every single role. None of them wanted to come and see me. None of them wanted to spend time there.
Shocking.
Unbelievable.
I know.
But Josh made that effort. Josh went kind of the extra mile. He took that extra couple of hours out of his day to come up and spend time with me and my team and understand the office and the environment. And that to me was, it was the difference that then actually I got to know, even in that first interaction, you get to see that person face to face. You actually got you get a little bit of their kind of personality within that first kind of face to face interaction.
I think that's what I was going to, one of the last points I was going to say and finish on. I think, yes, we live in a Microsoft Teams world now. I guess it's a stereotypical one that most recruiters will use, right? Yes, we live in that world. Yes, there are times where it is beneficial to use that due to location, due to time zones. But please, for all the recruiters out there listening, don't ever underestimate the importance of face-to-face meetings. Yeah. Like I said, it doesn't have to be in a pub or in a coffee shop or over lunch, but the interaction that you get from looking in the whites of people's eyes, there is nothing like it. And I think that was my biggest tip to my team is, I don't want to see them in the office 5 days a week. I want them to go out meeting their clients once, twice a week, because that is where relationships are built in front of each other.
Nice. And there is cost to it. He says there's time and effort, and recruitment costs money. We're going to spend money. We want to feel, as a client, you want to feel that you're investing that time. It's not just a couple of emails and a CV, here you go. Actually spend some time with that person. It makes them feel like actually the money they're spending is justified and you're getting value for what you're trying to spend.
Nice. And on that point, you've heard it here first. Get out of the office. Go see your clients.
Go to the pub.
Exactly. Paul, Josh, thank you so much for joining me on this. Everyone listening, thank you for listening to Beyond the CV podcast. I'm your host, Tyler. Hopefully catch you in the next episode. And finally, a big thank you to Access Creative College for all the students and staff who've helped us and looked after us with the production of our podcast today. A big shout out and a big thank you to all of them.